right, y'all. So let's get into Neyo. So, Neyo, he definitely is getting what I think a lot of men who blow up their households, start experiencing. It's like when your life just, starts crumbling down all at the same moment. I think Neo's starting to experience that because here it is now with this girl, Sade, and y'all know she was a girl. I don't know. I don't want to, call her no names or nothing. I don't want to call her no hooker. But, she was a typical, girl who knew her place as the side chick. And she ended up getting pregnant. And we all know Crystal ended up leaving at that time. Because kind of find out he got this girl pregnant again. So they got two kids. And here she is, I think yesterday, you guys, she ended up basically blasting Neyo and talking about, telling about your little freak offs, Diddy Jr. And it was like, oh Lord, here we go. Like, not only did she catch Neyo in rare form, she caught him like literally in the most vulnerable state. He had no hat on, y'all, playing his video games. He clearly, I don't know if he was like under the influence, but he was just kind of like seemed slow to react. But nonetheless, now obviously this has people bring up the conversation of what's going on in the household because she mentioned something about him doing it while the kids are at home, having women come over when his kids are home and like when they be sleep be in the other room with the other women. Now here's the thing, Miss Sade, you might be saying all that stuff now and it could all very much be true, but it's given that you were a part of them, freak offs potentially back in the day. Because, I mean, like I said, whatever position you played, Miss Sade, you did. But if he's doing those things now and your character is already in question because you were messing with a married man. So, and we already know to be in the type of crowds that, these celebrity men typically are in, their type of entertainment when it comes to women typically does involve, as they call it, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Like, they be doing a lot of stuff, as she said, Diddy Jr. So I wouldn't be surprised if Neyo, wanted her to partake in the madness of, doing drugs and, hooking up. But if that's what you want to do, cool. But don't be doing it in the same household as your kids. And so that's the thing, Miss Sade, like you saying like, oh, you doing it for the kids and things like that. I just wanted to stand up for them and, talk about what's right. And it's like, if that's the case, get your kids and go. But I don't know if they're staying together. I don't know whose house that is that she decided to record this video with Neyo with. He looks hella comfortable, so it possibly could be his house. Cause y'all know him and Crystal, they're no longer together. I think Crystal moved out, or did Neyo leave? No, I think Neyo left, if I'm not mistaken. So this could be, one of Neyo's spots, but he. Oh Lord, Neyo, like you really did cause a lot of mess because we already know about the Moneta thing and then the Crystal and then now this. Not only did you get the girl pregnant once but twice, and then here you are, Sade, trying to like call him out on his BS. But what did you think this man was about? Like seriously, what did you think this man was about? And I wonder what her expectations were after him and Crystal, broke up. And is that maybe playing into one of the reasons why she's, I guess, trying to expose him now? I don't know what she's looking for. She did finally come back with, I guess, kind of a post on her story. If I find it, I'll if I find the screenshot of it, then I'll post it right here and y'all can, pause and read it. But essentially she was just saying, she wanted to apologize for putting her business out there. She was just in an emotionally heightened state. And, she's like, I'm human, all these type of things. And so it's just kind of like, yeah, girl, that might be all cool and dandy. I wonder who called you. But she did say that she tried to say on there and take back that she wasn't antagonizing him. And she was just pressing the line. And it's like, girl, the video was given, antagonistic, behavior. And it definitely was something that was, you know, adding gasoline to the flame. You were pouring gas on the fire. But luckily, it didn't get, nothing physical, because she did admit in the video that he, allegedly body slammed her. And I don't like to accuse people of things, but if there's anything, and as a whole, I've learned to do with men, and it's to trust who they are to be known as. Unfortunately, and men historically are the schmoozers. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. So in this situation, when she said that he body slammed her, I don't know, but y'all drop it in the comments and tell me what you think. Neyo, needless to say, you got yourself in a mess, Diddy Jr. And who knows where this goes from here. Like, if this even becomes like a legal thing, if this is just gonna, go away, and that, they'll settle it behind the scenes. I don't know how this is gonna play off. Sade, unless you plan on leaving, I don't know why you did that. Like, if you don't plan on leaving, that's the thing. Like, I don't know what happened behind the scenes that like set her off and triggered her to even want to blast Neyo in the first place. So unless maybe it's because he didn't come off no munions, or he isn't treating her the way she expected. I don't know. But y'all drop down in the comments. Y'all tell me y'all think what y'all think is gonna happen. Is this gonna end up in court? Is it just gonna fade away? You think she's gonna stay with him? And what do y'all think triggered her to want to blast Neyo on social media? And do y'all believe her? That's the thing. Do y'all believe her when she said he was in the household with the kids and having prostitutes and hookers in the house, doing all types of drugs, and getting real sexual, explicit? And see, that's the thing too, that you dudes be married doing this, and it's like y'all be bringing stuff back to y'all women, y'all wives, and got your wives pH balance all off because y'all be out here raw dogging. So it's just kind of like, ugh, like, Neyo, you should be disgusted with yourself, okay? But nonetheless, you guys, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. So Queen of WAP, Megan Thee Stallion, Queen of WAP herself, has caught herself in a little bit of legal trouble, you guys. Now, I don't want to say like minimize it. I was about to say like, oh, nothing like super, huge or big. But I don't want to sound like I'm minimizing it, but in comparison to, the type of lawsuits that we've been seeing, that's what I mean. Like, she's just catching herself in not a criminal situation, but a civil situation. So y'all know Megan Thee Stallion, she has been doing good with keeping, her, reputation pretty clear after that whole, Tory Lane situation. And, she stepped away and, really got herself together. And now all of a sudden, she has a now ex-employee that is suing her for, from what I understand, lost wages. And he worked with Megan and basically admitted that there was a night that, Megan was out drunk as a skunk. As you know, she likes to say she liked to drive the boat. She liked to drive the boat. Well, allegedly Miss Megan, was letting somebody take her for a drive. From what he was saying is he witnessed Megan getting that cootie cat ate. Now it very much could have happened. From it was that way, right? Yeah, I think it's so where it's like, oh, was Megan the one getting ate out? I think it was Megan, or was Megan doing the eating? Either way, no, I'm pretty sure Megan was. Yeah, Megan was the one who was, getting down there, I think. But nonetheless, it was still a sexual interaction that Megan had in the backseat of the car on a drunk night. And the next day she saw him, she kind of drunkenly mentioned like, oh my God, you were in the car last night. And you know how somebody like passive aggressively is saying but not saying something that they want you to get. And it ultimately, to him, he understood it was giving real. Don't you say nothing about what you saw. But, that is not really the problem. The problem is what comes after it of, he's mentioned that Megan started being super aggressive towards him, bullying him, calling him names, mentioning things about his weight. Then, the bookings started to become less and less. And eventually he was like, they just messaged me one day talking about, like, thank you for your services. And so he, was trying to come back for his change. Now, if that's the case, Megan, don't draw this out. It'll go away a lot quicker if you settle with a little something, because what you don't, I know Megan is over being in the news. So I know she is looking for the quickest way to get rid of this situation, because she already had freaking year and a half drawn out with Tory Lanez every day. She was in the headlines. And so now that she's finally, kind of in the background, I know she doesn't want to have to deal with being on the news, every day because of another, legal situation, and for people to judge her, honestly. Because people really showed their true colors in that Tory Lanez situation. Not that it was surprising to me, but nonetheless, people, fell obviously where they did. So yeah, you guys, Megan Thee Stallion, girl, all you gotta do is just, handle your old little skeletons in the closet, and pay them the money and move on. Everybody, gets, a few bumps and bruises in life, and you just kind of learn from there. You gotta, take these learning lessons and move on. And so, Megan, don't let this stop you. Just keep going, because that music video with Glorilla, and you get ready to have this hot girl summer tour. You got a lot to look forward to. So yeah, you guys, y'all drop it in the comments and tell me what y'all think about the Megan situation. Do y'all believe the assistant when he said that he was witnessing, some kitty licky licky, yeah, okay, in the back seat? And yeah, what y'all think Megan should do in regards to the situation? So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. All right, y'all. So it's looking like we got Jennine Mai and Jeezy, Jeezy from the block. And it's going up in flames. Are we actually kind of surprised? No. But if there's anything that, I have been noticing in the comments when it comes to the situation with Jeezy and Jennine Mai, it is that the black community is split down the middle of, here she go, making Karen moves. Of course, when, black men get with people who are in the lighter persuasion or of, foreign descents, the usual response when they start getting in legal trouble is, here they go, start pulling those, Karen type antics, knowing that you're with a black man, he automatically is going to get the, short end of the stick. But, there are other half of people, at least there's some smart women who are basically like, look, this ain't our fight. This man knew what he was getting into from the get-go, because this girl said on national TV she liked her dark meat on the side. So they had ample opportunity to look into each other, but they didn't. And, they decided to hop on this roller coaster ride. And now that's why we got this situation that we about to talk about now. So y'all know Jeezy was the one who filed for divorce. And typically when the divorce proceedings start, especially when we start getting to that custody stuff, oh yeah, that's when I said the shit that got started. On one of the comments I made, I said, because Jennie had alleged that, Jeezy was, walking around the house with a little bit of pow pow, and the famous words of Soldier Boy, bah, bah, bah. He was walking around the house with it. And unfortunately, there's proof. Jeezy, you are caught on camera walking, around the house with this device. And whether it was for the reason of you going to put it up or just doing, security around the house, regardless, the problem is that it was out in the open and that your child could reach it. And Jennie said that, she lifted up the bag, it was heavy, and she was like, dang, what's in this bag? Because Monica was like walking to it or like playing with it or something, and she opened it up and it looked like, he was moving narcos. Like he had all the supply of ammunition, and so that kind of gave, Jennie, grounds for being able to, fight back in this custody situation. Now, here's where, the shit that got started, y'all. Didn't I tell you the shit that got started? So this is when, accusations start flying. Jennie is starting to allege that, in this relationship, she endured, physical abuse. Okay, y'all know what I'm trying to say. He was very physical with her. There was an incident in which she had some bruises, and he posted, well, I, got messed up too. That was the time for when we was on the golf cart, and he was trying to conflate, the situations. But the thing is, a lot of people, of course, are looking at Jennie and being the woman. Y'all know how this always goes. Well, you didn't stay with him, and if he was so bad when he filed divorce, why didn't you want to leave? And all the reasons in which people question women for why they decided to stay with a man who wasn't no good. It's always, you should have chose better. Oh my god, I'm so over that. It's the you should have chose better instead of men being better. Like, when are men going to be better? So nonetheless, in the court, documents, they start talking about how he allegedly struck her. There was even moments where, she was in the car, he asked the driver to get out, and he struck her. There was a situation, like I said, the golf course situation. He actually turned out to be drunk and, I guess crashed them. It's giving Jeezy, you are like most black men, it probably got anger issues, temperament issues, and because y'all make a little money and y'all know how to, make the outside look all crisp and sharp, then that means y'all can finagle, the doctor, the what is it, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type situation. And so, of course, the black community gonna be like, man, you trying to take Jeezy down, this and all that type of stuff. But it's like, I don't put nothing past nobody. And like Jeezy, at the end of the day, if you did those things, you deserve to get, consequences for it. And so obviously, with this being a child custody case, they're gonna have to dig through all of the, stuff that they're putting forth. He did put out a statement, Jeezy, saying that he obviously rebukes this. He rebuked that all this stuff is happening, and he did try to throw in there talking about, oh, from somebody I once loved. Like, what do you mean somebody I once loved? Like, this, it's always funny. You start noticing when men, like, they are starting to pull their antics when they start, bringing God into it. Man, I'm a man of God, or God brought me here, he gonna see me through it. When they start doing all that type of stuff, and then with the, oh, I've I had so much love for her, having love in my life, just certain things like that, or feeling betrayed, they love to make moves like that. Now, it was reported, that they both said that they, attended therapy and talking to the pastor. Now, that's one thing I definitely would never be a proponent for, or a person who goes up for that talking to the pastor shit. No, because we already know that those Bible thumpers is nothing but, patriarchal Christian or whatever religion. They just enforce things that are typically unhealthy for the woman. And you can attend these therapy sessions and talk to the pastor all you want, but if you ain't doing the work within the relationship, it don't mean nothing. And so, Jeezy, you talking about, oh, the therapy didn't work. Well, did you work the therapy? And that's the one thing people say, like, you can go to therapy, but are you working the therapy? Are you actually doing it? But like I said, a lot of times they want to pull the, oh, I did everything I could as a husband. I don't know what it was, and I've been through so much. Like, Jeezy, look, we are clearly gonna watch this, play out between them two. And it is obviously, like I said, getting messy. The shouldn't have got started. We got the bruises, we got the automatic weapons, the AKs. We got the allegations of, actual proof being said to like friends. Allegedly, Jennie had, updated her friends, a certain number of her friends, told them about him being abusive. So it's going down on the block, and of course those people who are like, oh, well, Jennie, you knew he was from the block, you knew he was from the street when you got with him, you was into a thug, now he is one, and now you don't like what's coming to you. And it's just like thug behavior and ancient behavior shouldn't equate. Like how you treat me as a husband, and you being from the block, yeah, you might be a hood dude, but leave that shit there. Like, I don't need a hood nigga for a husband. There's some dudes who carry that aura of like, the streets in them. The streets in there somewhere, but he's a man that's done the work and got the discipline, to handle his stuff. It's, I forgot what quote it was. It was like, it's not the problem that a man is capable of violence. It's like knowing when to use it, or using it in the right moments. And that's the thing, because everybody's capable of violence. It's using it in the right moments. And a lot of times men in relationships, the only moment they know how to use it is when it is to overpower a woman. So I hate that Jennie's in this situation. As of right now, they say that he don't know where the baby's at. He don't even know the location or nothing. So we gonna see how this plays out. But y'all drop down in the comments. Y'all think that, it's definitely giving, black women sit this one out? Is it it's like, I don't put y'all capes on, throw that cape right back in the closet. Do y'all believe Jennie? Do y'all believe Jeezy? Whose side you fall on? What do you expect, is going to happen to play out in the whole legal situation? But yeah, y'all drop down in the comments. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. Y'all, so Amanda Seales, I don't even know what to say. Like, literally just another one at Club Shay Shay. Okay, Club Shay Shay, if there's anything he gonna do, it's gonna get an interview that is going to go, I don't want to say viral, but essentially viral. Ever since Cat Williams, Club Shay Shay definitely has been the platform to go to get some exposure and get some shit off your chest. Okay, I'll just put it that way. But Amanda Seales, her being on Club Shay Shay definitely was a unique opportunity that I never would have pictured her doing. But for whatever reason, she decided to do it, and I don't know if it was necessarily good or bad, because at the end of the day, Amanda Seales, I've always been a fan of Amanda Seales. She's smart, she's intelligent, she don't play no games. She gonna call you out on the bull, and she fights for black people unequivocally, in a way that she's somebody that walk it like I talk it type situation. But at the end of the day, she is misunderstood, and she is in a lot of conflict a lot of the times behind the scenes, it seems. And sometimes we are a person who's a strong personality, who is matter of fact, who goes based on facts. Okay, especially in America, y'all know we don't love to go off facts. We love to go with, what they say, alternative facts. Just nothing but flames. Flagrant delusion and fairy tales and fallacies is what this country is ran on. But the fact that she is so straightforward and very structured, it can rub some people the wrong way. And that's something that she talked about in this interview. Now, Mr. Shannon Sharp, I will say there were some moments where I definitely were looking at you with my good eye when it came to Amanda and her expressing her experience of things. Now, I'm a person who doesn't give any pushback on the idea of asking any question in the moment, or giving a question of opposition, because to me there's no such thing as dumb questions. And especially in a certain situation that might open up a broader conversation that's necessary to the community, in that regard is what I mean. But Shannon Sharp, the way you angle a question, the tone in which you ask a question, the way you direct a question, those are huge tellers, just what you're trying to do and the type of person that you are. And I'm not gonna lie, Mr. Shannon, there definitely was some moments that had me looking at you like, do you even like this woman? Are you here to actually get people to understand her more? Or are you here to just denounce everything she says because people have already painted her to be a certain way and you have prejudged her and decided, you know, you gonna hop on the bandwagon? Because Amanda Seales does get that a lot. And she also discussed that too in the interview, where certain people feel a certain type of way about her, and all of a sudden, you know, like wildfire, it spreads to everybody else. And she talked about that kind of with the Issa Rae situation. Now, there were a lot of topics that kind of, you know, blew up on the internet. One of them being that, you know, just her experience as a kid, you know, growing up, dealing with racism, you know, how the teacher didn't like her. And anytime she talked, you know, the teacher got upset at her. Or, you know, the story of, you know, when she was explaining to Shannon about, you know, kids yelling, you know, racist remarks at her and, you know, saying things about her. Oh, you're only here because you're black. And Shannon definitely was always posing questions that kind of lent itself to coming across of like, do you believe her? You know, and not to say that Amanda, you know, is absolved of any fault, but I think there is something to be said about how sometimes a person, you know, can coexist with you know, the type of feedback that they are getting from other people, and just, you know, what's happening to them, you know, universally, the energy they put out versus, you know, what they're getting back from the universe. And so for him to just be like, well, you know, they're just kids, and it's like, yeah, you know, that only works for so much, because it's like at the end of the day, the pain is still the same. And she was trying to describe her pain and dealing with all of that. And I'm not here to talk about, oh, well, the fact that they were just kids and how they might have learned it from their parents, you know? That doesn't, you know, take away from all of the shit that, you know, black people are dealing with. They had that discussion. They also talked about her, you know, self-diagnosing. You know, that was a whole, you know, a whole just a whole little debate on social media about her being autistic. You know, they do have these tests that you can do online where you kind of, you know, they just kind of let you know, like on a sliding scale, basically, like where you may fall, you know, on the spectrum, or, you know, things like that. And so Amanda, she did say she kind of like made a flippant remark of like, oh, you know, I was diagnosed with autism, and then kind of reverted back to, well, not diagnosed, but, you know, I you know, found out through testing. And so it's kind of like, to not necessarily have an official diagnosis of autism, you know, doesn't necessarily mean that she isn't exhibiting some of the characteristics that play into, you know, who she is and might how she be perceived, you know, from the rest of the world. But, you know, that was one of the things that just, you know, kind of blew up. Another big thing that she talked about that I think definitely, you know, has been a huge contentious conversation, which is, you know, the conversation between light skin and dark skin, you know, women, and being dark skin, or being light skin in a world where already the perception of you being light skin means you're better, and, you know, darker skinned people automatically putting that sticker on you, like, oh, you must think you're better than me, or, you know, you think that you prettier than me because you light skinned. And that caused a lot of, you know, people who are fair complexion to get, you know, bullied and dealt with dirty. And I'm somebody who has experienced that, you know, girls just not liking you simply for walking in a room, because automatically, because the world tells them, well, you're not desirable, nobody wants you, and they see somebody walk in the room that, you know, they say is more valuable than you, it's going to make a lot of kids, you know, lash out. And that is a conversation that is, you know, kind of, it's a gray area, because at the end of the day, the actions that are being done are the same exact actions on either side. And I mean that in a way of treating white people, treating black people, you know, bad. with bullying and the types of bullying that they were doing, excluding like the hanging and things like that, but like being bullied at school, like the actions and the physicality and emotional things of being bullied, it's all the same, but the reason and the context behind the bullying is different. So yeah, light skinned girl, she's getting, punched in the face and fought, because she's light skinned, and you see a bunch of white kids fighting a black boy because he's black. Like it's the same thing. It's just the context is different behind the actions. And I think because it's this thing of like, oh, colorism, we automatically know the negative effects of it and how it affects darker complected people. People want to throw, well, there's reverse colorism, and it's like, no, it's not reverse colorism. Definitely could be titled with, bullying. But because the actions are similar, I think that's why people want to throw that reverse colorism when it's not that. But it doesn't negate the actions of what happens to, light skinned people, and the trauma that they face because of, racism and white supremacy and what it has done to the black community. But overall, you guys, Amanda Seales, she did a decent interview with Shannon Sharpe. I definitely want to go back and watch things. What do you guys think about Amanda Seales? Honestly, nobody's gonna make me hate Amanda Seales because she rides for black people too motherfucking hard, okay? And not only that, to sometimes when you see somebody who just is so open to just the betterment of the community, like, you take obviously the good with the bad. And not to say, like I said, that Amanda is obsolete of any fault. She definitely, I would hope that she would be able to admit if she had any faults. Because it does come off to other people that, like, dang, everybody can't be wrong about you, Amanda, type situation. But, I do think that maybe because she does view things in the lens of, especially being in the field that she was in the race, the historic, like racial historic, like background in college and things like that, she does see things in always a way of who's being oppressed. Like, somebody in the equation, regardless of what it is, there is somebody that needs to be defended, and I'm there to defend them. And that's not a way to go through life. There's not always a fight to be had. And maybe that's something that Amanda, will learn as, obviously you learn and as you get older. But Amanda Seales, are you guys, an Amanda Seales fan? Did y'all watch the interview? What did y'all think about Shannon Sharpe and how he interviewed Amanda Seales? Y'all think that he was able to keep up? How did y'all feel about the way he was questioning her and her experience as, a black kid? And yeah, I really appreciate y'all for tuning in, y'all. Y'all just make sure to drop down in the comments and discuss everything that we talked about today. I apologize that, I didn't get a chance to do a lot of these videos, but your girl was dealing with a lot, okay? It was just a lot of stuff happening. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Bye.